Ready. Welcome back to the channel. Podcast day. Did you know that you can get free water from Starbucks?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that until this week.
You're supposed to get free water anywhere.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I knew that at restaurants, but not... Oh. Now she's under the cake. Wow, your hair's long.
I know. I'm flying to Chicago too tomorrow, so...
Okay.
I was like, I need a haircut.
Yeah, you gotta get the fade that gets you laid, homie. Are we doing a half guard on the side?
Yes, please.
Same haircut?
Yeah.
Are we still keeping the mustache?
Of course.
Okay. Sounds beautiful to me. So, we already pre-discussed topic for today's podcast. And I had reached out on Instagram and I asked people to let me know their stories. And I kind of feel like, okay, so the topic was what, worst dates ever?
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like kind of go into first dates, that would be.
Usually my worst dates are only a first date.
Are a first date,
yeah.
right. So I did have one friend reached out and said that she took this girl out on a date and she's a Christian, right?
Okay.
And this girl that she picked up took her to some, like, witchcraft store.
Oh.
And then afterwards, she's like, yeah, I just, like, it rubbed me the wrong way. She's like, because I'm a Christian, you know, and I've been a Christian my whole life. And then...
You're going to a witchcraft, it's like that polar opposite.
Right. And so, when they finished with the date, she had told her, like, you know, I don't think that we should date, like, I'm not interested in you. And then she had somebody, like, blow up her phone, and for a while, one of her friends blew up her phone because she ended up having to block her. I was like, well, that's not a good story. I mean, it's a good story to tell, but that sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe you dodged a bullet with that one. But really, that was pretty much it. I didn't have anybody really reach out to say anything, and then I had a guy earlier. He told me that his girlfriend now, one time was FaceTiming a guy who was eating a giant jar of applesauce while he was...
That is so odd.
Different.
That's so random, too.
While he was on FaceTime and then had to cancel the date the next day. And my conclusion was that he had, like, the applesauce runs because it messed his stomach up so bad.
Oh, yeah, probably pooping stuff.
You know? Like, sorry, I can't come. I got the applesauce runs because I ate this giant jar of applesauce. But I figured that you always have good stories when it comes to...
Anything and everything.
Yeah. Especially bad dates. I'm sad for you, but it also makes for good stories.
It's always true.
So what would you consider one of the worst dates you have ever been on?
This was back when the Tinder days first came out.
Tinder, okay.
Yeah, when I had my first apartment, matched with some girl, some blonde girl.
Okay.
She's like, oh, let's go on a date, blah, blah. I'm like, we'll go to Detroit. I'm like, alright, fair enough. Mind you, she was blonde in her profile, long blonde hair.
Okay.
She shows up, and I'm standing outside waiting, you know, like, she pulls up in this little hoopty car, and she's like, Trace? And I'm looking around for some blonde chick. No, she cut her hair and dyed it all black.
Oh.
So she had like a dyke spike.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Now it's like, is this, I forget.
Sheila, we'll say.
Yeah, Sheila. She's like, yeah. I'm like, what? I mean, you don't look anything like your like, I got catfish.
You got catfish.
And, back then I was too nice. So she's like, alright, so we still going on this date? And I said, sure. Like, I'll drive. She's like, no, it's fine, I'll drive. I'm like, no, I insist. And she had like a Dodge Neon.
Oopsie.
Oh, yeah. And like, I went to get in her passenger seat, and it's like she's been living in her car.
Oh.
There's bags of clothes everywhere. The whole back seat's filled with everything. And I'm like, you sure you don't want me to drive? She goes, no, I know exactly where we're going. So I get in the car. She starts driving. She's like, oh, by the way, we're going on a double date with my best friends. I'm like, oh, okay. The more the merrier, I guess.
Yeah.
So we ended up at some fancy steakhouse in Detroit. And this was back when I was like maybe 18, 19.
Living on your own, can't really afford much.
Oh, yeah. And we pull up to this fancy place, and I was like, I'm not eating today. I didn't tell her this, but like knowing what I could afford and not afford.
Right.
And she's looking at whole bottles of wine, caviar with her steak and lobster, and I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have to tell her, like, I'm not paying for this.
Yeah, I can't afford it.
Yeah. Well, good, like, throughout the night, you know, we go to order, and she only orders mac and cheese. So I was like, oh, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I ended up talking to, like, the guy the whole time on our double date, and the girls talked or whatever, and we're leaving. And she's like, hey, we should go downtown and go sightseeing. You know, I was like, well, it's getting kind of late. You know, I work early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no. She's like, we're going downtown to sightsee. I'm like, no, really, like, come on, I kind of want to go home. And she, like, forcefully grabs my hand. She goes, no, we're going sightseeing. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, at this point, I'm like, this is getting kind of weird. So, like, you know, we're holding hands forcefully. And, like, I go to loosen up to, like, pull my hand away eventually, like, 5 minutes later. And she goes, what's wrong? Why aren't you holding my hand? I'm like, oh, I just figured it was, like, for the time being. And so we go on some, like, top of this parking garage, look at the stupid stars for a couple minutes, and then go back. So then we're riding in her car on the way back. She's like, hey, you don't mind if I smoke, right? I'm like, no, go ahead. I was thinking weed. You know? And she whips out Newports and just starts cheaping on cigarettes, which I personally don't like.
Yeah.
And the whole time chain smoking, one after another. So we finally get back to my house, and she leans in for the kiss, and I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't do that. You know, I just like, I don't like the smell of cigarettes. I know you're gonna taste like them.
Right.
Well, she unbuckles her seatbelt and tries to, like, start climbing over. And, like, she's like, no, I want a kiss. I'm like, no, I'm like, you know, I'm trying to be nice.
Right.
Well, I got to the point I had to, like, unbuckle my seatbelt, open the door, and get out. And she ended up on the passenger seat. And she's like, you're really going to leave me like this after the great date we just had? I'm like, it might have been fun for you, but I'm like, you know, this wasn't what I had expected. You know, like, anything like what I expect. I'm like, you smell like Newports. Well, I walked back inside. I had to block her number. I got phone calls, texts all the next day, like blowing me up. So,
wow.
I was just like, yeah, that's not happening, ma'am. What was her name? Sheila?
Sheila.
Sorry, Sheila, not today. So, like, she was an aggressor, which is usually uncommon.
And I feel like men are usually the ones that are a little more dominant than...
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be the first one to hold your hand. You gotta hold my hand.
Well, here's the thing. Read the room. Like, if I'm not trying to, you should stop.
You're right. Read the room. Yikes. Did you go on any Tinder dates after that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went on a bunch. I took a girl to a hibachi one time. And, you know, they serve you food in front of you.
Yeah.
And, the guy hands her, like, her chicken or steak or whatever she got. Mm-hmm. And we're eating and talking, and all of a sudden I hear, like, boop. And I was like, huh. You know, like, someone's phone messages going off or something, right?
Yeah.
We're talking, start eating again, and boop. So I'm like, alright, where's that coming from? Well, as we go to eat again, I'm paying attention now. It's her. She's stabbing her chicken or steak with a fork, and every time she does it, she's making a noise.
She would say it.
Oh, yeah. She would just make a noise. So I'm like, is that you? And she goes, yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, it's cute. I'm like,
cute.
I'm like, it's cute if you're like 3. I'm like, we're out in public. You sit at the table with other people you don't know.
Right.
And I'm like, and you're making noises? I'm like, can you please stop?
Oh, so it was bugging you.
Oh, yeah. It was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. Was that the only time you dated her? Or did you go on a
Well, yeah, so I was telling my mom about it. And I was like, yeah, I went on a date with Sheila Jr.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's like, what? I'm like, what? And she goes, what's her last name? I'm like,
Snicklefitz.
yeah. I'm like, Sheila Snicklefitz? She goes, you did not. I'm like, what, Mom, what? I'm like, you know her? She goes, I know her family. She goes, her mom is insane.
She knew the Snicklefitz?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, well, thanks for the heads up. She goes, well, I didn't know you were going on a date with her. She goes, never again. She goes, that is a crazy family. I'm like, well, that makes sense. I mean, she was making noises at dinner.
She called them the Boop family.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty bad.
I know, especially if your mom knows her.
Yeah.
I'm like, please don't repeat this, Mom.
Did she look like her Tinder picture at least?
Yeah, this one matched everything. It's just, I don't think I could date somebody who's making noises while poking. I'm like, do you want like a sippy straw? You
Boop.
like plastic forks that are colorful?
Oh man. One time I was at Hibachi for my friend's 30th birthday, and his daughter was there, and she got a Shirley Temple drink. So, you know, they had the little maraschino cherries in them?
Yeah.
Well, she took her straw, and she kept stabbing the cherry. And she goes, "Look, Daddy, I popped my cherry."
Oh, God.
So we started...
In front of everyone?
Everyone. It was so innocent, and I'm dying on the inside, and he's looking at me like, "Don't you dare."
I mean, sometimes you have no choice.
Like, that was, you couldn't have, man, that was good. So then she's just sitting there stabbing the thing, going pop, pop, pop. I'm
I'm like,
like,
can I speak to you over here, please?
ooh, that was pretty funny. Yeah, that was funny.
How old was she, you think?
Oh, she was, let's see, it was his 30th birthday, and I think he was young when he had her. Like 19, so she was like 10, 11, 10-ish. Yeah, look, Daddy. I mean, too young to know what it means.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I wonder if she'll, like, that'd be a core memory for her.
You know, I don't know. But then it's like when you laugh at a little kid when they cuss or do something bad because it's funny.
They'll keep doing
And then
it.
they keep doing it. So yeah, she's like, pop, 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 pop my cherry. I'm like, he's like, don't say that, don't say that. But how do you tell a kid that that's bad? Like, I don't. That was one of those, like, parental moments that...
You just freeze up, don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. Not my kid, but that shit was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never did Tinder thing.
Well, my apartment, I was out by, like, Oakland University.
Oh,
So
prime bait.
So when Tinder first came out, it was like everybody was using a dating website at least to find something.
Yeah, that's one thing I never...
Especially by college, it was like easy pickings.
Well, it's kind of like, I feel like Tinder was like a hookup app kind of in a way, right?
Yeah, but usually women don't like to just hook up, they gotta go on a date first. Some.
Yeah. Guess it depends on the woman. That woman that Sheila wanted you. She wanted your Snickle Fritz.
I didn't want Sheila.
I never did the dating app thing. Did have a guy one time ask me for gas money for a date. But we were all young, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're going on a date, I don't know. Don't ask for gas money. It's kind of like...
I think it depends how you're raised, Like, I don't know. I was raised differently. Like, my dad was very, like, I always open the car door for you. Like, if a guy doesn't do that for you, he doesn't respect you. So, first date I ever went on, I stood there. And I waited. And I waited.
He's like, are you gonna get in?
No, my daddy said I can't get in. If you don't, but then, like, doesn't mean that they're raised that way.
Oh, yeah.
this mustache is looking fantastical. So you're going to Chicago this weekend. You guys got any definite plans?
I think we're going out with her friends Saturday.
Okay.
Friday we'll probably just cook, stay at home. Sunday, I don't know about Sunday. Hopefully we get breakfast.
You flying out Sunday night back home?
Yeah, I'll land at like midnight.
I was supposed to go out of town this weekend too.
I think we're going out of town for work soon.
Oh, really?
We're going to California.
Dang!
Yeah.
How long are you going to be gone for?
Like 5 days.
Oh, that's not bad. Like a fun part of California?
I don't know yet. He just said don't book anything.
I've never been to California, have you?
No.
Well, that'd be exciting. Somewhere new. She's still on your lap, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's loving today. She's had most of her favorite people.
She's getting all her pampering in.
Mm-hmm. She purring on you?
No. She just.
Puppy's
napping.
sleeping. Taking a nappy poo. Was that the only time that you ever got catfish like that?
Yeah. 100%.
Because I hear that happens a lot.
No. I feel like when Tinder first came a thing, nobody was catfishing until like the app went on longer.
Yeah. That's funny too. So, catfishing is kind of like an urban dictionary term, right?
What's it mean?
So it means, like, I guess just like false. You portray yourself one way, and then online and in reality you are another
Gotcha.
way. But my niece was here last year when Cleo was just a baby. We only had her maybe like a week or so. And she was playing with a string with her. And she's like, "Look, Auntie, I'm catfishing." I was like, "Hey, that's another way to say it."
Little kids.
Like, if you only knew what it really means.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that website, Plenty of Fish?
I don't think so.
That one was like a free dating app one. I feel like if you're gonna do a dating app because you're serious, you should probably do one that you're paying for.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like a hookup app.
One of my buddies does Tinder still,
Uh-huh.
and I guess Tinder Gold, you can put yourself wherever you want in the world.
What?
So when he goes to go on vacations, he'll match with people in like the city he's going to.
Oh. So how does it work? I get it, like, left means no, right means yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you and another person both swipe right, it means that you're a match, right?
Yeah, and then you just message away.
and then you can like private message them.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't private message them if you don't both match?
No.
Okay. That makes sense. That's fair. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like you've had some good stories in the past also with not even girls from like a first date, like after you got to know somebody, like some crazy stuff. Like with a pillow pet girl.
Speaking of which. What was our first girl name?
Sheila.
Sheila Junior now. Reached back out.
No, she didn't.
Yeah. And she was like, hey, do you still have a roommate? I'm like, why? She's like, well, I was thinking that me and my pet, Sheila Junior, could move in. And I was like...
A real live pet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got a dog.
Oh, okay.
Probably her pillow pets, too.
Yeah, that's what I was like, whoa. Okay, continue.
I was like, you want to move in? She goes, yeah, I was thinking that we could, like, be roommates and, like, start working on things again. And I was like, you think that's a good idea? She's like, well, yeah, why? I'm like, well, you didn't like that I was going to date other women. You blocked me on everything. Mm-hmm. So I was like, and you want to be my roommate? She's like, well, I mean, we would start to work on things and, like, see if we could date. And I said, yeah, that's not going to happen. No. Well, I was telling my buddy about it.
Uh-huh.
And she posted a picture of a guy, like, 2 days ago. We clicked on his profile because she, like, remixed it. And they've been, like, dating since, like, December. Like, he's got pictures of her all over his Instagram.
Were you dating her back then or no?
We ended in, like, middle of November.
Okay.
So then she started seeing this guy.
So she wants to move in with you and double dip on Rue?
Well, I don't think she knew, because I'm blocked by her.
Oh.
But my buddy still follows her.
Okay.
So after I told him the story, he's like, yo, she just posted a guy. So, like, she posted his whole story on her story. And then my buddy's like, yeah, they've been seeing each other since, like, December. So I'm like, she gets in one argument with him and then reaches back out.
Right. Probably. Yeah, that's a good guess. Wow. So, the story of Sheila Junior is... How did you guys start dating and when did it get weird?
We knew each other for a couple of years.
Okay.
And when me and my ex broke up, probably last year, I reached back out.
So many Sheilas. Okay, you reached back out.
Reached back out, and then I was like, hey, you know, we used to just hook up. So, like, you guys
So
want
it
to
was
see
just a hookup
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I was like, you want to see where this actually goes? And she's like, oh, sure, we'll try. So we started trying for a couple months. She met the family, everything.
Oh, wow.
And then, like, randomly one day, like, we were just texting. She's like, hey, I can't do this anymore. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. Like, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm not used to being treated nicely. Like, I'm used to my shitty relationships. I'm like, so you're leaving a good one because you're not used to it? I'm like, that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm just used to shitty relationships. So at this point, it's already over. So I was like, well, I'm like, you want me to treat you shitty? I can, if that's what you're saying. And she's like, no, I can't see it working out right now. Well, lo and behold, the guy she's dating now or seeing or whatever they're doing is her neighbor that she used to tell me. She's like, oh, hey, I'm hanging out with
Sunny.
Sonny
and Sheila. That's great.
So I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I'll trust you until I find out you lie to me, and then, you know, the trust isn't there.
Right.
So, like, you have friends, going out with your friends. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she used to tell me all the time she was hanging out with Sonny. Well, look who's dating Sonny now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm like,
how long? Guys and girls can be friends and, like, hang out individually, like...
Yeah.
One of us is gonna want each other. That's just how it goes.
So it's like if she's cutting things off with him, and they're neighbors. That's probably why she has to move in, to get out of where she's at. But then it was like a week later, she's posting them on her story again. That's how my buddy's seen it.
Yeah, you're probably right on with that one.
So I'm like, if I said yes to you moving in to start things up again, then I find out you actually do move in. For some random idea, I say yes, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have this guy, then back, then this guy. I'm like, I'm not dealing with all this. That's the thing. If I had feelings for you before, I'm not gonna like be your roommate and watch other guys come in. I don't think that would, like, vice versa too. Like, if you have feelings for me, I'm sure you don't want to see. Obviously, she didn't because she blocked me, but because she said she couldn't. I think I posted a story of me going to Chicago.
Yeah.
And I was on a date with
your girl there.
my girlfriend now. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, I just can't see. I don't like seeing that stuff." I'm like, well, it was fine for the years we were friends and you dated and I dated, but now all of a sudden, since we got close, it's not cool.
Should have just kept her as a bumping buddy. Because that's all you guys were, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when did the stuffed animal thing come about?
We were just at Meijer one day. I was buying food for dinner, and she's like, "Oh my God, can I buy this pillow pet?" I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, I kind of collect these things." I'm like, "Oh." And to each their own, whatever. But I'm like, I don't know. At a certain age, I don't think you should be collecting pillow pets. You know. Mm-hmm. And then I found out, like, when we went to her house, she pulled them all out of the closet. She had like 23 of them. And she's like, yeah. She's like, I've been hiding these in my closet, but I usually sleep with them every night. I'm like, what the fuck?
Where am I supposed to sleep?
Well, yeah. She goes, well, this one sleeps with me at all times. This one and this one can stay. I'm like, oh, so now it's like multiple personality disorder? You're going to decide which ones can and can't stay on the bed?
So once she got comfortable with you is when she was like, these are my pillow pets. Mm-hmm. And they all have names.
Oh, they did. I'm like, why do I got to find the weird one?
Like, it's one thing to collect Pokemon cards still because that's your thing. Or you... I don't know, what do people collect? Baseball cards.
As I said, to each their own, but like...
Right. Model cars that you do, but...
I feel like just pillow pet, though? Or like Barbie dolls or something. I don't know.
Unless you're going to make money on that.
Yeah, no. You're not, because you're sleeping with them and they're getting dirty.
Yeah,
They're not like... What were those? Jelly babies? Or jelly beans? Or beanie babies?
Beanie babies. Yeah. Which are worthless. But we all thought that they were going to be... worth a lot of money.
So it's like, whatever.
So it was just later on, that's when, was there any other red flags when you were dating her?
No, not really. Every time she drank, she got wasted though.
Like, did she think it was cute?
Probably.
She just seemed a little, like, just immature then. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's annoying. Then you gotta take care of somebody, and you don't want to do that.
No.
Like, have a glass of wine, chill out, and that's it. Like, know your limits.
Yeah, like, if it's a Tuesday and I cook you dinner and you're, like, 8, 9 twisted teas deep, that's not fun.
That's a lot. She's like, it tastes like tea!
I know.
Yeah, that's too much.
She doesn't even make it to dinner and she's passed out.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, she told me, she's like, I'm seeing a therapist now, and they said I should, reach back out and try things. I'm like, so you've been talking about me to your therapist, is basically what you're saying.
Right, and reach back out to be roommates, though? Like, that's a
Well, she told me, I was like, what makes you think, like, we haven't talked in months, and you think reaching back out, asking if I have a roommate, it's a good idea? She's like, well, it's kind of like a icebreaker, like to break the ice between. I'm like, that's your icebreaker?
Okay, that's a pretty big deal.
I know.
Do you still have a roommate? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys have lived together for what, over a year now?
No, like 3 years.
It's been 3 years?
Yeah, I've been in the apartment 3 years now.
You've been there for 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I went through a weird portal. Time just flew by. Wow. the ex breakup. Right before Christmas, couple Christmases ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot. And that's really the last, like, girlfriend that you had until this one now.
Yeah.
Which is going good, it sounds like.
Yeah, she was just here 2 weekends in a row.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, she came the weekend before Easter, and then during the week, she went and stayed back with her mom in Grand Rapids, and then came back. She got a rental car, came back out here for Friday, Saturday, and a little bit of Easter, and then drove back to Chicago in the rental car. So I got to see her 2 weekends in a row, and then...
Yeah, that's nice, because Grand Rapids is a halfway point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go to Chicago again in May.
For? Visit your aunt.
And I gotta see my grandma. So I'm gonna go for a little while. They're going. They need me to kind of like watch her for a little bit.
You and Grandma?
Yeah.
You gonna go out on the town?
I'm babysitting Grandma. I'm so excited.
How many days you going for?
I'll be gone like 8 days.
Oh, that's not bad.
I know my husband's gonna miss me so much. He can't handle it when I'm gone.
He's gonna drive out there.
He might for a couple days.
Hmm?
Yeah, right. I don't think he can handle 8 days without me.
He calls you. Yeah, the house is burned down.
No. Yeah, so I'm excited, looking forward to it. Yeah, when I would go to Grand Rapids to visit with my dad, I would be gone, like, at the max, I think I was gone 3 nights one time. It was very difficult for my husband.
How do I turn the sink on?
No. No, he just misses me. But it makes me feel good. I'm like that. I like a good clinger. I need you to want me.
Would you admit you're clingy, Will?
What's that?
Would you admit you're clingy?
Very clingy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, who admit it?
What am I clingy on?
Me.
No.
I said I'll be gone for 8 days. I don't think you can handle it. He did not like that. So he was talking about too. He's like, I could get a job driving a truck over the road and be gone, for a week at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and make so much more money. Like he'd be making double, if not triple, what he makes now. He's like, I don't want to do that. I want to come home every night and see my wife.
Yeah, you don't really spend anything when you're on the road.
You don't, yeah. But you can never get time back.
Oh, yeah.
And I would rather have a simple, happy life than a luxurious life where I'm lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And he feels the same way, so. Like, I don't care. I have everything. We have everything we need, and then some. It's like when you try to live beyond your means, or the more money you make, the more bills you accumulate.
You start buying more. And...
You can afford more, so yeah, you start, okay, well, we can upgrade our furniture. Now we went to Gardner White and have a monthly bill because we just spent $20,000 in furniture. We can afford that,
Mm-hmm.
$400 bill a month. Okay, now we can get a car note, a fancier car, which is...
Yeah, what sucks though is when you stop doing all that
Yeah.
and you're used to that lifestyle, then it's hard to come back.
I agree. I kind of had that, like, before him and I were dating. I was engaged before to a man who was very bougie, high maintenance, lived, like, there was nothing but, we had granite countertops in our garage. Like, he was over the top, and it made me feel very uncomfortable, even though I was used to that life. Yeah. I was more humble. I didn't like it. It wasn't my... So coming here with him, and then we have this house that doesn't even have plumbing, like, hey, we gotta use a bucket for a little while for a bathroom. I was like, wow.
Yeah, but it's like a fixture upper. You guys do it together.
We did everything together, and every inch of this house is from what him and I had built together. It's so cool. And it was humbling, you know. Mm-hmm. So then it goes to like, yeah, granite is beautiful and it's nice, but our counter holds the same amount of stuff as,
oh yeah,
you know. I'm good. I don't need that. Like, who do I need to impress? I don't care. I'm just glad we have counters, because it used to be just slabs of wood. We used that for a long time. Yeah, it's crazy. Once in a while, he'll like pull up the pictures of what the house looked like when we first moved here. Yeah. And I forget things. Like, there was a while where we didn't have a kitchen sink, so I was doing dishes in the bathtub, but I was just so grateful we had running water. Mm-hmm. But I would rather live those days, live with my husband in a freaking tent, than go back to being miserable in a luxurious lifestyle. That was funny too. Like, a lot of people, when him and I first started dating, thought that because of the age difference that, like, oh, he's must got money, or you know, gold digger, why else would you be with a guy that's 40 and you're 26? I said, we don't even have a toilet.
It's because I like him.
I love him. Yeah. So my last guy before you, he's got a younger girlfriend, not too young. I think they have like a 6 or 7 year age gap. He's 26 and she's 20. And her friends and people are giving her a hard time because, oh, that's an age gap. And I'm like, that's nothing. And they're saying, I love you right away.
When you know, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Shoot, Will and I said, I love you after the first kiss. We were like, whoa, that's weird, but it felt so right. It was like normal. What's he doing?
Did you say we did?
Yes, we did. You said it first. I'll admit it, you're a mushy gusher over your wifers. Now you stuck with me for lifer. Yeah, we were engaged after a few months too. Sometimes it works out.
Yeah.
I think people that chime in on your relationship and
need to work on their own.
They need to work on their own, the ones that have negative things to say. Because a lot of people don't like seeing people happy.
Well, it's not even that. Like, you don't, like, just because it's not the typical, you gotta date for a year, get engaged. Like, no, I can get engaged whenever I want.
Mm-hmm. Like, statistically, yeah, I agree. Like, in reality, only 50%, I think it's less than that now, marriages actually, like, last and work out. That's why second wife is 2 times charm. I made sure you got it.
They say, never stop dating.
Yeah. Never. Remember when I made that box for him for Valentine's Day with all the letters in it?
Mm-hmm.
I had said in there, like, when you need date night ideas, and all my favorite dates were, like, memories from when we first started dating, like, just driving around talking, and...
Yeah, it doesn't always need to be dinner.
It doesn't have to be dinner, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Especially nowadays, like going out to eat is so expensive.
Especially in Chicago.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I'm like, yeah, I'll come there and just let me save up for like 3 weeks.
Baby, I'm gonna wine and dine you. They got TGI Fridays in Chicago. It's on.
You ever heard of Mickey D's, the dollar menu?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take you out for burgers.
Burgers and fries, my treat.
Burgers and fries all day. Even McDonald's is expensive in Chicago.
They got 10% sales tax.
That's ridiculous. Stupid. I think it used to be... Because my aunts lived there for a long time. I always knew it was higher than Michigan, but I didn't know it was 10%. That's crazy.
Highway robbery.
Highway robbery! But I'm glad things are going good for you guys. It's about time you got like a good girl, you know? You had some really crazy stories. And some stories, like stuff like you and I have talked about with Will also, it's like we can't even put on the podcast because it's that bad.
Some stuff cannot be put on the internet.
Yeah, it can't be, but I know you had a really rough time for a while.
I was cursed at one point, I felt like.
Yeah. But maybe you just had to have those crazy experiences to know what red flags to look out for and to appreciate a sane one.
Gotta slay a couple dragons to get to the princess.
Hey, I never heard that. I always heard you gotta kiss a few frogs before you
That one's good too.
get your prince. Will and I are going to our favorite Mexican restaurant tonight.
Where at?
Mi Pablo's.
Where's that?
We go to the Mi Pablo's Express. It's on...
Hall Road?
Nope, it's on...
Wait, I think I was just about to say the little...
It's on Grossbeck.
So like
Yes,
the
Grossbeck.
yellow-orange building?
Yes.
Yep.
It is so good. Every time we go there, there's a bunch of Mexicans getting off work, eating. So that's how you know it's good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a fan, and I know people get so mad at me for saying this. I'm not a fan of El Charro.
I don't really care for it either.
I don't think it's that great. I love my hole-in-the-wall Mexican restaurants. You don't even have to serve alcohol and be like a fancy place. Mm-hmm. I need a hole-in-the-wall, authentic. Like
there was a place in Mexican town in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sat 15 people. And it's like so Mexican, you just point.
Yeah,
just say
that's the place that we go. He's talking about in Detroit, in Mexican town.
What's that?
It sits like 15. It's cash only.
I don't remember. I've been like a few years ago. I haven't been down there recently, but it was so good.
So good.
And basically, you just point at the menu and then tell them how many you want.
Yeah.
So.
Right, they give you a pop can. Mm-hmm. You ask for a Coca-Cola. Here's a can. Yeah, the one that we go. It's Tacos Locos, I think. It's a shithole looking place.
I'd have to ask my buddy.
Oh, they're so good though. The worst looking ones are the best. Or like the janky looking taco truck. Oh, best tacos of your life. Best tacos. Ooh, did you ever go to... What was that place we went to after the Barber show? Hot Taco?
Yeah.
It's gone now, I think. Did you ever go there?
Mm-mm. I don't think I've ever heard of it.
That place was good. They give you like a humongous tacos. Really good. I got like shrimp and fish tacos.
Most people are frowned upon it. I like tripas.
What's that?
I believe it's the cow stomach or pig stomach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like flash fried and deep fried or something. Sounds nasty, I know, but...
What's it called again?
Tripas.
Tripas?
Tripas.
But it's good, eh?
I love it. I always say don't eat with your eyes. Because if you do, or don't eat with knowing, kind of, you know? Because like you find that out, most people aren't going to want to try cow stomach or pig stomach.
But you'll eat everything else that's on the animal, right?
Yeah. You ready? Hey.
What you doing, Figaro? Thank you for being on the podcast with us today, Figaro. She was so excited. As soon as I said Trace is coming over, she went by the window. She was waiting for you.
I say bye.
Aww. Good episode. Not too many curse words either.
I tried limiting it.
You do good. I got one guy, I can't even, the videos are canceled because he cusses too much. It's like, this video cannot make any revenue on because there's too many F words. But he's a great time. Good conversationalist. Like, you gotta wait at least, I think it's like 6 minutes before you cuss.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
On YouTube?
And then they do
I
something
couldn't
weird.
pronounce the name of this place if I wanted to.
Ugh.
Well, thanks for watching today.
That's the name of the place we go to.